Welcome back to the Gentle Counsellor podcast. My name is Crystal and I support mums through their inner healing and parenting journeys. For those of you listening right now, this episode is a little bit different because back in October of 2021, it was World Mental Health Day and I had some wonderful friends join me over 3 days to talk all about mental health and motherhood at the Aussie Mums Mental Health virtual event. I hope you enjoyed these conversations, which were recorded live at the summit. I'm also thrilled to let you know that we will be returning in 2022 and plan on making it even bigger and better. It may or may not involve a retreat. Wherever you are right now, I hope these episodes find you when you truly need it. I would love to hear your feedback on these chats, so make sure you're connected with me on social media at The Gentle Counsellor. If you'd like to receive an email once a month that is full of freebies, parenting tips, links to podcast episodes, beautiful affirmation screensavers, and other goodies, make sure you are signed up to my email list. I hope you enjoy this chat. Hello, everyone. We are back. We're halfway through our day on day one of the Aussie Mums Mental Health virtual event. Thank you so much for being here. If you are joining us live, say hello in the comments. Let us know you're here. Let us know that it's working and that you can see us over on Facebook. Now, I have Brooke with me today, and we're going to be talking about how baby wearing can save your sanity. Very important topic, and I can't wait to get into it more with you, Brooke. So hello, welcome. Did you want to start off by introducing yourself and talking a bit about why you do what you do?
Yep, absolutely. Thank you for having me here today. Can't wait to chat more. So I'm based in Brisbane. I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old now, and this all started for me when I was a first-time mum with my daughter, so 7 years ago. Yeah, and I was quite a young mum and had her, and so I used a baby carrier just as a tool myself, and I didn't think much of it. I didn't even know there was much to it. I just got a stretchy wrap when I was pregnant, thinking just another thing on the list to get. And then I went to use it and I did well with it and I did really like it. And she slept amazingly in it, and I was astounded that she could sleep for 2 hours on me in this thing and only sleep 20 minutes in her cot, and my brain could not comprehend that. I was like, you're so capable of sleeping 2 hours, but you're only sleeping 20 minutes on your cot. And obviously I know now that of course that she's going to sleep against my warmth and my heartbeat and my movement so much more than in a static cot. So it really helped with sleep. And then it allowed me to go for a walk with her happy and allowed me to just be a bit more of a normal human being. I found like it really made me feel capable as a parent to meet her needs, but then also like to meet mine as well. And I had this one experience where I caught the bus down to the shops, and I remember getting on the bus and just feeling like so like powerful that she was happy in this thing, and I had my hands free, and I caught the bus down to the shops, and then I could actually browse Kmart in like, I just remember being in the towel section and being like, oh my God, like I'm actually doing this thing, like I'm actually shopping. My baby's asleep, and I'm not like looking back on it, I probably did have anxiety. I wouldn't have labeled it as that then. I just thought like I was really trying to find my feet with nap times and feeding, and every time she made a murmur, I really wanted to tend to her needs. And so I was really heightened, I think, and alert of keeping her happy. And I felt like I could actually keep her really happy in the wrap, and I wasn't stressed about trying to time a nap or push her in a pram knowing she's about to get upset and pick her up at any moment kind of thing. So I was actually just like, I could let go. I knew that her needs were met and I could just get on with it. So it was a very empowering experience for me, and one of my biggest tools as a parent that I used. And then from it, I went to like a local baby wearing meetup in my area and was exposed to this huge world. I had no idea that there was all these different styles of carriers, all these different brands, price points, like these hundreds and hundreds of dollars wraps. And I was like, whoa, my mind was just so blown. And I went home, researched and stuff, and got a few different styles. I remember getting a ring sling and trying it out at home, and it was absolute disaster. And I was like, hate this. How does anyone even use this thing? They must be lying. Like, it just doesn't make sense. So I struggled to find my feet a little bit with it. Like, it is a skill to learn, and it's not always super simple to figure out these slings and stuff practice on your own. Yeah. So like I said at the start, because I was a young mum, I didn't really have a career that I'd put on hold, that I was on maternity leave from to go back to. And I'd kind of lost interest in what I was studying a little bit prior to having Eleanor as well. So I kind of had a clear slate. And because it was so heavily involved in my life, baby wearing, I decided that I really wanted to do something with it, some kind of work, and teach more parents about how amazing it is and how empowered they can feel. Yeah.
That's
and
so
how
great.
much they can meet their baby's needs. And it also meant I could work by keeping Eleanor close, because I still probably had separation anxiety.
Yeah. But what a great way to be able to combine both things, like being a new mum and a young mum, and your baby still being so young, and then being able to support other people in such a wonderful way, because I really do think baby wearing is so like underrated still. It's such a big tool, like in my parenting toolkit as well. It saved me so many times. And just, I totally know what you are talking about when you have that moment where you're like, oh my goodness, I have two hands. And like, you can do what you want, and your baby's calm and not screaming, and you're not worried about, oh, are they breathing? Because, you know, postpartum anxiety and intrusive thoughts are really fun with that. It just makes it so much easier. Like you said, it just makes you feel so much more capable. And I think for me, I can definitely relate to when you're talking about being anxious, because my firstborn, my daughter, could never be put down into the cot. So that was really tricky to navigate. And it was like, okay, how can I still like eat a meal? Like, how am I going to, you know, do like the 1,000,001 baby onesie laundry like for the day? And so I think I started out with a ring sling because we had bought one at like a baby expo we went to, and I actually found that to be quite like good and easy once I got the hang of it. I did go to a baby meetup, like a local one on the Gold Coast, and that was great. And that's when I also learned all the different ways that you can carry them and use a wrap. And there was like back carry, and then like pretty designs, and I was like, this is pretty cool. So then I got like a wrap from that, and that's my favorite one to use. I never got one of the buckle ones. I don't know, for some reason I just like the idea of the wrap more. And I used it probably a lot more with my son, but that's also because I had a toddler running around. So that was a great way to keep everyone safe, and making sure that I wasn't disrupting him too much and I wasn't disrupting her too much. I could just kind of get on with it. And yeah, definitely better sleeps, especially witching hour, I think was a time when I would like get the vacuum out, because the vacuum noise in combination with the baby wearing was like my go-to move for like 5 p.m. So the house was really clean and everyone was chill, and it just made such a big difference. And I've even had times where I've visited family members or friends who have had babies, and I always take my carrier with me just in case. But to be honest, most of the time I just get the snuggles because I want to hold a cute baby anyway. But it's always good to have as an option. Like, we all have those times where you realize, oh, I'm going to be here for a long time. And rather than like have your arms get exhausted, you can at least just learn how to carry correctly so that you're not like hurting your back or anything. And then you can just kind of get on with whatever you need to do. And I would love to see more people talking about it, because I can definitely think of ways that I probably wasn't carrying safely, I guess. And I know now in public, when I go out and I see people like at the shops or whatever, and I can notice it now, like if a baby's head's flopping, or if a newborn is facing outwards, or you know, the leg shapes. But I won't get into it because I'll let you talk about it. So what are some of your tips for how people can baby wear safely?
Yeah, absolutely. So important. Like, without baby wearing safety, we have no baby wearing. Like, it has to be the highest priority. But I did just want to touch on some of the things you mentioned as well about it being underrated. I agree. I feel like it's gaining so much more, not popularity, but it's becoming more accepted as just a tool to use, because it did used to be seen as kind of more a hippie thing, or a real niche thing that maybe only suited
it's a good word.
And suited like a certain style of parenting. And now people are actually going, oh no, it's just incredibly practical, because children want to be carried anyways, they're born wanting to be carried. So let's actually use this tool to be super practical and save our arms and our posture.
And when you don't want to lug the pram around, like those things are super annoying in tight spaces. And I think, it's like, okay, instead of this huge thing that's like really annoying to navigate, I can just grab like this little wrap and we're good to go. Yeah, exactly.
And you also jogged my memory as well on when you're going places. And I think you were saying that you used to carry your friends' babies, right?
Yeah.
Is that, yeah. But I was thinking that I used the baby carrier as a way for my mum to be able to look after my daughter.
Yeah.
And that also saved my sanity because she would feed to sleep. I would cuddle her to sleep. It was a big thing with her. By the time I had my second, this wasn't so much what was happening. I think he was also a different kid where he didn't need as much contact, but I think it also fed off me as well. Just as a first-time mum myself, I was just like, I need to be with her. She needs me all the time. Yeah. And so the carrier was a sleep tool. It got her to sleep on me. And I knew that if my mum was looking after her for a few hours, as long as I left the carrier with my mum, my daughter was going to be fine.
Yeah,
and
that's so
that
great.
really put me at ease a lot, that she wouldn't be upset needing me. My mum would be able to settle her with this carrier.
We did that too, because my daughter went to a family daycare, and you just made me remember we did do that actually. So she was able to be baby one a little bit, to be put down for naps, and I was so grateful to have that, because I know a lot of parents are worried about, how are they going to transition into being had by someone else? Like, they don't have the boob, they don't have me, how are they going to go to sleep? And I like that you talk about using it as a sleep tool as well.
And I was about to just say on that, they just recognize it. My mum uses it. Oh my gosh, it's just left my brain. I can't remember now.
That's okay.
It might come back to me.
Yeah,
it might come back to me. It was really
so many
important
things to talk about.
There is. But safety, we'll go on to that, even though it's going to annoy me and I really want to remember. I can't remember.
If you remember, you can always come back and chuck it into the chat box.
Sure,
the comment box.
Yeah, it was so put me at ease knowing my mum could settle her. I can't remember what else I was going to add to that. But anyways, so safety. Yeah, safety is always the number one priority, because using a carrier or a sling does come with slight risks, and it's important to be aware of those and making sure that you're on top of avoiding those risks. And those risks are that it's a suffocation hazard and a fall hazard. Now, children are most risk under 4 months of age in these devices. So because they've got such a heavy head to hold up in proportion to the rest of their body, and also they're not going to let you know that something's wrong as much as an older child will. So we follow the TICS baby wearing safety guidelines, which is a universal set of guidelines. It's an acronym, and you can use it from newborn to toddler, and no matter if you're a beginner or advanced person carrying your baby as well. So T stands for tight. So we always want our child to be firm against us, held nice and firm, and they move with our body as we move. They're not swaying against us in the carrier. And you'll know if it's too tight. Just tune into your instincts and stuff, but otherwise it'll feel nice and secure. Eye is in view at all times, which means you need to be able to look down and see your baby's nose and mouth at all times, completely clear of the carrier or your like your shirt. Often they have their head turned to the side. I just got a little picture here that I can show you what I mean. That's Axel and I when he was younger. So they often have their ear resting against your chest, is really lovely. And some will want to nuzzle straight into you, and it's okay as long as that's kind of flat here, and then once they're asleep you can just kind of turn their head a little bit. So anyways, in view at all times of that nose and mouth, nothing obstructing that view or the airway to it, the airflow to it. C is close enough to kiss. So your child, I've just got a little demo doll here that I can use to show you. Your child is held up nice and high on your body that you're able to just glance down and kiss the top of their head right there. If you're kind of extending your neck to kiss them, they're probably a little bit too low, so just bring them up nice and high. And this is as they get older as well. Always want them close enough to kiss. It helps your ergonomics to stand up nice and tall, but it also helps you to keep an eye on them, so that comes back to the in view at all times. If they're a bit lower, they might be a bit more smothered in the carrier, so close enough to kiss their head. And then K is keep the chin off the chest. So we don't want our babies to end up slumping and their chin falls onto their chest. And that all works together. If they're held firm, nice and tight, back to the T, then we should have a nice curved spine that's kind of firmly pushes this chest cavity against yours rather than lets it slump. So it's held firm and the chin naturally will stay off the chest. And a good practical way is to test that 2 fingers can fit between their chin and their chest. And so that's an airway thing. And then S is supported spine. So again, that spine's just supported with the carrier kind of inch by inch. It's not gaping and loose and allowing them to slump. So nice and supported in that curved natural position. So yeah,
That's
just
so
always
great.
being.
I love how you just are like, here's my demonstration.
Yeah, there's always one around. The 2 biggest things is airways and making sure your baby's not going to fall. They're nice and secure in there. So just always being mindful of those things.
Yeah. And I think for me, finding out how to do this safely in someone who has a bigger body and larger chest was really tricky for a while. I felt like there was something I was doing wrong, but to be honest, for anyone watching this who struggles with their body image is going to be able to relate that you internalize a lot of things as, oh, it's me, like I'm too fat to baby wear, right? And I think I just wanted to bring that up because I have personal experience with that, but also how you can still baby wear. Even if you are in a larger body, that's following the same things with the tics. And then just figuring out where on your body that kind of sits. And I think for me, that's what took the longest to figure out, was not having them too low. And then they were like literally right in there. And then not too high where they were slumping over because there was that extra distance anyway. And it takes a bit of maneuvering to do, a bit of tweaking. And I like your tip about moving their head to the side, because I think that's what I eventually learned was, I just need to place like their ear on that area, and then they're like, they don't have boobs suffocating their face kind of thing.
Yeah.
So is there anything else we can be mindful of to do with that if we notice that something's not sitting quite right?
Yeah, that's right. Baby wearing will suit everybody, and it's just about tweaking or finding a style that's more suited to you. Like sometimes the structured carriers, they're structured, so you're kind of fitting your body into it and your baby into it, and that's not going to always work for everyone. Whereas a wrap is going to fit around your body and around your baby perfectly every time and mold really beautifully to you. So it's about finding the right style and tweaking. It would just be about tweaking and sometimes just moving that belt to a different spot. Often it's common for parents to have it really low, so bring that up a bit higher. But then if it's like too high and stuff, adjusting that slightly. Just tweaking, reaching out to like a baby wearing consultant or going to a baby wearing meet where there's experienced people that can potentially help you more. There is a really good page as well called Plus Size Baby Wearing, and
I follow them on Instagram.
Yeah,
they're great.
Really, really amazing. So there are just tweaks you can make and different kind of positions you can try out.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head. It's like figuring out which style of which style of baby carrier is going to suit you, because I think the structured ones are the really popular ones now. And maybe that's why I was never drawn to it, because I just couldn't see how that would quite work with us. And I also wanted my husband to be able to baby wear, and he's like me, he's also in a bigger body as well. So for us, like having that long wrap made the most sense. Plus we could try out different styles. And I knew as they grew bigger and older, and if I wanted to do like a back carry with my toddler, that was another option I could have to do with them as well. And Sarah's just commented that she found it tricky to baby wear as a plus size woman too. So she's very happy to have that shout out of that other page that we just mentioned.
Yeah,
it just really helps to be surrounded by people who are doing it, I think. And if they're really wanting to like hire like you, Brooke, to have a session to figure it out, because I know you do in person, but you also do online sessions as well, which is great. So that means everyone's able to access you and your wisdom of knowledge. It's just so needed. And I think for me, it was going to that baby meet that I really got a good feel for it. And I remember everyone being so lovely and inviting and like figuring it out, and they like basically did it for me, and I was like, how did you do that? Was amazing. And it felt really good and secure, and I was so surprised that I didn't feel pain in my back. I think I had the assumption that it wasn't going to be comfortable, and there's no, if it's not comfortable, like it's like breastfeeding. It's like, it shouldn't be uncomfortable.
Yeah,
You should be able to do it in a pain-free way. So let's find some tweaks and figure it
I
out. And I
agree.
think you get that from like other women, from people in the community who are able to share their experience and knowledge.
Yeah, definitely. You should never be experiencing pain while baby wearing. Yeah, it's not something that's like, oh, well, I'm just carrying my child. They're heavy. It's going to hurt. Like, no, it should be completely pain free. If that's happening, there's some tweaks that need to be made. That even happened in a consult that I did this morning, and a dad put his son in the baby carrier for the first time. Mum had been using it a lot, but he hadn't. And he was like, oh my God, like I feel nothing. It's like taking all his weight. And this child was 8 months old, so heavier. And yeah, he was like, whoa, it actually takes all the weight really well. So yeah.
And they're so cute. I have so many pictures of us baby wearing just because they looked so adorable in it as well. And when I had my son as a newborn, we tried a double wear. So I had my daughter on my back and him on the front just for fun. I never went out because I wasn't confident enough to really do that, but it was really fun for her. I mean, she was old enough to know, and she thought it was the best thing ever. And then what ended up happening was she started bringing me her like teddy or baby with a blanket, and I would wrap and it was so cute. And I was like, oh wow,
that's
look,
adorable.
I just like passed that on to her without realizing. So that's super cute too. So she has like that Kmart clip baby carrier, and she loves to go out to the shops with her baby in that as well. And so I think that's just so funny that we're also like showing our kids another way that they can care if they want to have kids one day.
Yeah, because I didn't get on to telling people more about who I am, and I will, but I'm the Kanga training country leader. So Kanga training's a baby wearing baby wearing exercise class. And anyways, my daughter said to me the other day in the car, Mum, when you die, I'll take over Kanga training for you. It's just like, thank you, sweetie.
That's so cute.
My kids know that I'm always helping families with their baby carriers.
Yeah. I definitely want to give Kanga training a try next time. I'll have to come to one of your classes or something. I totally forgot.
They're on the Gold Coast. Yeah,
They're
there's a trainer on the Gold Coast. So definitely.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, yes, tell us a bit more about.
I will. Let me just talk about toddlers as well, and just going on from your daughter wrapping a teddy, is that baby wearing can not only save your sanity with your potential first child or the exact child that you're wearing, but when another one comes into a mix and you're dealing with siblings and parenting more than one child, like baby wearing can also definitely save your sanity. Even if you've worn that first child and you've now had a second, I did this, and that second child potentially down for a nap, so your newborn's down for a nap and you just got some one-on-one time with your toddler, you can put them up for a carry, and they like cherish that because a lot of your attention's now going to this newborn, and they're adjusting to that attention now being divided. And if they've always had cuddles with you, it's a beautiful way to reconnect and just have that closeness and slow down. And I did that with my daughter. She'd be having a tantrum about something, and I just put her up, and she would just kind of melt away. Eventually she would calm down. So it can really help. Definitely witching hour, it helped me get out of the house as well. Like I'd put my child in to do my hair and makeup, and he was still happy in there, and I could actually kind of get ready and stuff. So it's such a practical tool.
I mean, I drop lots of food on my kids' heads. Let's be honest, I use it a lot so I could finally eat a meal.
I did that as well all the time. I mean, like if they're happy in there, just let them be happy.
And even when I took out the pram, because sometimes whether it was hot, I just didn't feel like baby wearing, and I would go for a walk and I would take the pram, which my son was okay with more so than my daughter was. I would still take my wrap with me just in case. And so then it just alleviated all the stress of, okay, I'm about to go for an hour walk. I'm literally leaving my car, so I'm going to have to deal with the entire hour. And then it was just another like good backup plan to have if I needed it. Or if it was like winter, then I'd prefer that anyway, because I knew I'd be keeping them warm and they would keep me warm as well, to be honest. So that was like a great bonus to realize what lovely like heaters they are for us too. And for me getting sleep at night, because my husband's a gamer, so he likes to play his games at night once the kids are in bed. But when we had a newborn again and I was trying to catch up on sleep, he would baby wear. So he'd like be able to like lean his chair back or whatever and still do his gaming and do his thing. And I'm saying this because I know other people watching probably have husbands that are doing the same thing. So they can do it as well. It can be another great way for them to support you, especially in those early months when you're trying to take care of yourself as well.
Or an exercise ball is really good to sit on too while they're like asleep, because you can keep bouncing but like rest your legs.
Yes,
and
I did that many times.
It's a really good tool. Like I said, how I passed it to my mum to get Eleanor to sleep, and I still can't remember what was going to say about that. It's annoying me, but it is a really good tool to also pass on to your partners or even friends and family, especially in those early days when your child's like cluster feeding and establishing your milk supply and stuff, and they just, if they get to you, they're like, just want to feed, and you're like, I know that's great, you're trying to establish my milk supply, but I just need a minute. And so you can just like, that would happen all the time. I'd be like, I know Bub's not hungry, Mum, can you take, Axel? And he would just settle and have a sleep on her, no problem. And then when I'd taken a minute for myself, then I could have him back and give him a feed or whatever. So
combining both breastfeeding and baby wearing was like game changing. Once I finally figured out how to maneuver, again, being plus size, it was like literally having to like, okay, how do I like pick up my boob and like not suffocate and like do all of that? And I did figure it out a few times, which was so great. And I was like, this is amazing. Like I'm doing all the things. I am super. I think those were the moments that I really felt like I had it together as a mum, was when I was able to baby wear and do all the things.
Yes. And a really good tip for bigger breasts is to get a towel or like a washer or something quite thick and roll it up and be able to prop your breast with that. And it kind of holds it up for you while you're baby wearing and breastfeeding. So I've just heard that's a really good.
Cool. I used to do it in public more so because of course baby got hungry right when we finally were like in the middle of doing our grocery shop for the week. And so that's actually how I first learned how to do it, because I was like, there's nowhere to sit. I don't want to take you out of the wrap. Like that's like a big thing in itself. And then I think that's what forced me to like first learn how to do it, was because I needed to. And it was great. It's just, baby wearing.
That's amazing.
I love the title that you picked for this with How It Can Save Your Sanity, because like legit.
It's they can like on so many levels.
Number one.
On so many levels, So so Eleanor got to about 6 months old and I was like, what am I going to do, with my life? And I'd heard about this baby wearing Zumba class in a Facebook group or something. I was like, oh my God, sounds amazing. I used to love Zumba. I love baby wearing. I want to do that. And there was only one, and it was Kanga training. It wasn't baby wearing Zumba. It was actually Kanga training. Someone just described it as that. And there was only one other trainer in Brisbane, and she'd kind of just started at this point. And so I looked into it and I decided I want to be a Kanga training instructor. So I went down to Melbourne and wrapped Eleanor up on the plane, and she slept in the wrap the whole plane down, and did the course, came back, and then I started as a Kanga training instructor. So for those who don't know what Kanga training is, it's a baby wearing exercise class, but it's designed by physiotherapists, baby wearing consultants, so it's incredibly safe. It's designed for baby wearing, so it's low impact. All the exercises are safe to do while you're carrying up your baby. We don't do anything crazy like star jumps or it's very
don't want to do star jumps anyway.
Very postnatal safe and baby wearing safe.
So great.
And it's all around the world. It was developed in Austria, and there's trainers all around Australia. There's about 65 of them.
Wow.
And so I started as that, and it was so wonderful for me. I met an amazing community of mums. I felt so good because I was adding value to their lives, but it got me out of the house. It gave me purpose as a new mum. And then from that, I was just baby wearing more, and I decided I wanted to get more into it. So I became baby wearing consultant and did training in more areas of baby wearing, because Kanga training is mostly just your buckle carriers. It's a kind of smaller. So I wanted to extend my knowledge. So I did that. And then I started working as a baby wearing consultant, where I went out to people's houses or they came to me. Didn't offer online really for a number of years because it wasn't so much needed, or kind of what people did. It was all in person. And and then I sold a number of brands and stuff like that. And then I kangaed all the way up to 36 weeks pregnant with my second.
Wow.
So Eleanor was about 3 by that point. Most of the class she'd just chill on the floor, but sometimes I did have her on my back with my big bump on the front as well, and still did
balancing it out.
And with baby wearing, you gain your strength as if you're carrying from newborn. As your child gets bigger, your strength just gradually increases. And then once I had him, I stopped taking classes. We kind of moved to the other side of Brisbane. A few things changes, but I kept doing consulting. And then I started educating professionals on baby wearing safety and best practice, seeing
So
a need
good.
for like doulas to get more educated,
Yeah.
midwives, chiropractors, physios, anyone that kind of sees parents. And,
Mm.
these parents could be talking about their baby carriers not working, and at least then they're able to give out good, correct advice, because
Mm.
the advice was really scattered all over the internet, and there wasn't really like a peak body for you to go to get information from.
Yeah.
So Kelly and I started the Australian Baby Wearing Association last year, which is the peak body in Australia for baby wearing safety, and we educate the professionals now through that
So
organisation.
amazing. I remember seeing all of that come together, and I'm even trying, I'm like looking in my drawers.
Oh, yay.
Because I still have my copy of, it's in a container still, because I haven't had a chance to give it out to anyone. But yeah, you can go and grab these. I'll let you tell people about it, but I'll show it what it is.
Yeah, they're just little community cards that show different way to carry your baby safely, and then ticks guidelines on the back, and then a QR code that goes to our website. So you could give those out to people in public if you see them like wearing their baby, and maybe they could tweak that carrier, but you don't know how to say it. You could just let them know, that. And then a few months ago, I got appointed, as the Kanga training country leader. So now I just kind of manage the brand in Australia for Kanga training.
So cool.
And
so exciting.
Yeah, so nice.
Brooke. That's amazing.
I feel like I've come back full circle as well, because it all started with Kanga training, and now I get to still be so involved. So it's really awesome. Yeah, I love what I do. I feel so special. I feel like I'm meant to do this. Somehow
you really light up when you're like in your element talking about it and doing it too.
Yeah. It's so fulfilling, like, to empower these parents with this tool, and it's so nice for the babies as well, because I feel like I get to advocate on their behalf. They can't talk about how much they want to cuddle and stuff, and I'm able to encourage their parents to cuddle them.
Having such a positive ripple effect. It's absolutely amazing, and that's why I said at the very beginning, like, it's just underrated, and it shouldn't be. This is like honestly the number one thing. I think I remember joking to people about how with my second, like, your hospital or your baby list of all the items you need, and I'm like, I literally need like my boobs, nappy, and like my carrier. Like that's those are like my big three things that I need, and I'm good.
So true. Good to go.
We've got some people in the chat on Facebook. So Debbie's just been talking about how she used structured carriers the most with her older ones, but with this baby, she's saying she's heavier than previously, and she's really loved the stretchy and the ring slings this time around. Yes, and Brooke is a magician with the tweaks. And made a joke about how you have to leave the Kanga business to your daughter in your will.
So funny.
But it's definitely your zone of genius. That's from Debbie. So you're right in your element, bringing so much of like a meaningful difference to people. It's just so great, and I love being connected to you, because now I know, I'm like, oh great, I have someone as a resource for baby wearing. And Sarah's just said, I'm wishing I wore my first more now, can't wait to try it again with baby number 2. I always feel the same too, Sarah. I'm always thinking like, I wish I had done it more, because when I did it, I loved it so much and it was great. And with sleep training culture being so like present and so stressful, and so many parents that you feel like you have to get your baby to sleep in a cot or whatever it is, I just wish I could go back and like take away all those moments of angst that I had, feeling like I was doing something wrong because my baby didn't want to be away from me. Who would have thought? I just wish I just was like exercise ball baby wearing, and I did it a little bit, but I mean, it's just something that we learn from with experience, and it's all that hindsight, I guess. But having people talk about it and being surrounded by people who are normalizing it as well, like yourself, I think is really important too.
I think it is slowly changing away from that, they need to be independent, like very slowly, but I feel like it is happening. It's just so important that you tune into your instincts as a parent and your baby, and just do what works for you. And if you're both happy, keep doing it and just try and shut the rest out. And also, like, sometimes people's opinions or something can be a reflection on, maybe that they're triggered a little bit, that they didn't follow their instincts because they thought they couldn't, and they're watching you follow yours, and it can bring up stuff for them.
Definitely.
So just something to be aware of, that just keep doing you, and Yeah, and if you're a professional watching this and you're working with parents, you know, giving them permission to follow their instincts is so important, because they're just wanting to a lot of the time, but they're reading this stuff and they're feeling conflicted. And if you're just saying, no, go cuddle your baby and keep them close, like they're just like, oh, thank God, it's all I want to do. But like, I thought I couldn't and stuff.
I've had so many clients that when I mention the option or the idea of baby wearing, they are literally like, I never even thought of that. Like, so for a lot of people, they don't even realize it's an option as well. Or like you said, they need to be given that permission because maybe other people told them scary stories of, you know, I don't know, news loves to like take advantage if anything ever happens. And like you're saying, as long as you're following those safe guidelines, like with the ticks, like you're all set to go. And if ever you're nervous, you can reach out for people online, or people like Brooke, like anyone who you know is all about baby wearing and knows what they're talking about. Everyone's always like up for helping each other out because we get it.
Yeah, it's been done since the start of time, you know.
That's the thing, isn't it? It's nothing new. It really isn't anything new.
Yeah, it's just, you know, they used to use animal skins or bark or planks of wood or something to carry children, and now we've just with sewing techniques and technology, they've just adapted it and everything. So it's always been done, and different cultures have their own special carriers and styles, and we're spoilt for choice now, and such a practical thing in your parenting toolkit, definitely.
And I love how you offer them for sale as well, because that means we can just go to you.
I do have them there available, a few different brands, just the ones that I really rate. You can find them on my website, definitely. Or always, you're welcome to, you know, send me a DM and ask me a question about a certain brand, and I'll give like my unbiased opinion. I just want people to be carrying their babies safely and happily, and that's why I'm there for consults as well. If you have another brand and you need help getting it fitted, like can book an online Zoom consult like this. I do 30 minutes or 60 minutes, and we can cover so much online, because it is often just those tiny tweaks where I'm like, oh, you just need to lift that waist belt and actually kind of tighten this way, and boom, everything works.
And I can't even imagine that like elated feeling that people must get when they're like, finally, like I know, and they remember that tip and they can use it each time. That's so great, Brooke. Is there anything else you were wanting to share with us before we finish our chat today?
No, I don't think
remember
so.
Remember that thing from earlier?
What was it? No, I cannot remember that.
The only thing I can think of was, were you thinking of the benefits for the baby, like with the sleep aspect? I'm like trying to think for you, because we've done a podcast together, so I'm trying to think about whatever we talked about in that episode.
It was something about sleep and being able to pass the carrier on.
Sleep transition?
No, I don't know. I'll remember it as soon as we get off this, I'm sure.
That's fine. Chuck it in the comments, and then
okay. Or maybe it's just gone. So whatever. But thank you for bringing it up. No, I can't remember.
No, that's fine. Thank you so much for joining us today. Can you please tell everyone where they can find you?
So Brooke Maree _Babywearing, and that's Maree Maree. So Brooke Maree _Babywearing on Facebook or Instagram, and my website's brookemaree.com.au. You'll find me there. And on Instagram, I have my handles for the association, the Australian Babywearing Association, and Kanga Training Australia as well. So
perfect.
Again, follow those.
Thank you so much again for taking the time to chat with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been wonderful.
Bye, Brooke.
Bye.